Any question? In this problem, we first determine the period of this tangent function. And we know the period for the tangent x is equal to pi. So this tangent of the 4x, its period, is equal to pi divided by the coefficient of this x, right? And we start with the fundamental cycle of the tangent x, which is the negative half pi to half pi. And we set this 4x between the negative half pi and half pi. Then in this way, we determine the fundamental cycle for this given function. And then we find those three key points by setting this input, okay, this whole thing 4x equal to negative pi over 4 or the pi over 4 or 0. Then correspondingly, we get the three key points for this graph. And then we draw these two vertical asymptotes by setting this 4x equal to plus minus pi over 2. Then we get the two vertical asymptotes. Then we can draw the graph of this tangent function. Now let's summarize the period and the fundamental cycles for these three functions. So first, let's list the functions in the first column, and then period in the second column, and then fundamental cycle in the third column. So we begin with the sine x. We know its period is equal to 2 pi, right? And the fundamental cycle is from the 0 to 2 pi. And this is the closed interval. And from this graph, you can see here, this black one, right? So from the 0 to 2 pi, this is a graph of the sine x, right? And this is the fundamental cycle from the 0 to 2 pi. And its period is equal to 2 pi. And we have the cosine x period is also equal to 2 pi. And fundamental cycle is equal to the closed interval from the 0 to 2 pi. So this guy, this is graph of the y equal to cosine x from the 0 to 2 pi, right? So the period is also equal to 2 pi. Then let's look at the tangent x. The period for the tangent x is equal to pi, okay? And the fundamental cycle is from the negative half pi to half pi, this open interval. So now this black one, this is the graph of the tangent x, right? This black one is from the negative half pi to half pi, right? Its period is equal to pi. Now, if we have the coefficient of x not equal to 1, then let's look at the sine of bx. So now, for this sine bx, its period is equal to 2 pi divided by b. Here we assume the b is positive. Okay. And then the fundamental cycle is from 0 to 2 pi over b. See here, this red one, this is graph of the sine of the bx. So the fundamental cycle is from the 0 to 2 pi over b. Right. So similarly, have the cosine of the bx. So the period is also equal to 2 pi over b. And the fundamental cycle is also from the 0 to 2 pi over b. Right here, this guy. This is graph of the y equal to bx. So the fundamental cycle is from 0 to 2 pi over b. And the last one, tangent of the bx. So this is equal to, okay, the period is equal to pi over b. And the fundamental cycle is from the negative pi over 2b to pi over 2b. So here, b is bigger than 0. Now let's continue with the graph of the y equal to cotangent x. And let's first determine the vertical asymptotes for the cotangent x. We know cotangent x is equal to cosine x over the sine x, right? And for those points at which the denominator is equal to 0, the cotangent x has the vertical asymptotes, right? So sine x equal to 0, this holds if and only if x is equal to k pi, right? K is an integer. So that means y equal to cotangent x has the vertical asymptotes. Okay. The vertical asymptotes for y equal to cotangent x are the x equal to k pi. And we may also compute some order pairs for the cotangent x as we did in the case of the tangent x. And since we know this cotangent x is not well defined at 0, at pi, at 2 pi, so when you take the value which is very close to the 0, then your y value will be very big. For example, you let the x equal to 0.01, which is very close to the 0, then the y value of this guy is equal to 100. And if you let the x equal to the 0.02, then this is equal to 49.99. And if you let the x equal to pi over 4, the y value is equal to 1. Cotangent of pi over 4 is equal to 1. And if you let the x equal to pi over 3, the cotangent of the pi over 3 is equal to root of 3 over 3, so approximately equal to 0.58. And x is equal to pi over 2, then this is cotangent is equal to 0, because cosine of the pi over 2 is equal to 0. Then 2 pi over 3, this guy is equal to negative root of 3 over 3. And then 3 pi over 4, cotangent is equal to negative 1. And 3.14, cotangent is equal to negative 627.9. Okay, kind of big in value, right?